Well, I think to the field in this role as a coach and player, I just think it gives us relational equity, for me to be able to challenge him, to get on him, to call out the best in him, and just, hopefully expedite the learning curve as a new player to our team. So we'll lean on that. It's been great. Obviously it makes for a fun room because we have history. So there's give and take. We can poke fun at each other, but at the same time, enjoy the opportunity to work together again. But when we're in that room and then we get out on the grass, it's business and we get after it. And then he's worked extremely hard this offseason. It's been fun to work with him. Yeah, something like that. I think he's probably more like a nephew from our age difference, I think. But yeah, he was eager to learn and was just in my hip pocket everywhere, trying to grow as a player. And it's cool to see the difference now, just as 7 years removed, and just how much more mature he is, and how much he's learned from a football standpoint. That's encouraging. That's going to benefit us. But yeah, we laugh about those days. It was fun back then, and it was good, to kind of for both he and I. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I thought that was my last year in the league, and then I played another one. But for me, it was a time in my life to be able to kind of get ready to leave and to kind of give everything that you learned throughout your career to a young guy and let him carry it on. I thought it was good. I thought it was thorough, and had been through kind of two different versions of it these last few years, and it's just so these last 20 years, this whole thing has changed so much. With it's drastically different from when I went to the combine to what it is now, and it's very challenging. And the opportunity to meet with these guys and the entire class, but especially the group of guys that we met with. Every one of them was impressive, and what we asked them to do, and the pressure that we put them under, and the way that they all responded is pretty cool. And so I enjoyed our process. I thought it was very thorough. I thought it asked a bunch of them, both mentally and physically, in the workouts, and we got a chance to really have a fair evaluation and make a great decision. The first thing, I thought his pro day was excellent. I thought his pro day was excellent, and then when we went back for the private workout, just the meeting room, the meeting room time was you could tell he's been very well coached, and then his retention on the plays and the materials that we gave him and asked him to talk through was spot on. He was A+ in that regard, and then we got him on the field, and it was kind of another version of the pro day where you really felt like he was spinning the ball, and then putting him through some of our footworks and things that we were going to ask of him. We saw a pretty coachable player, and so that was encouraging as well. But I would say the classroom more than anything, and just his personability with throughout. You're sitting there in a classroom with a group of coaches. It can be intimidating as a young player, and he held his own, both intellectually on the board and then relationally and emotionally. I'm sorry, say it again.
What if anything, from the beginning of your playing career, were you sort of applied to mentoring coaching?
Yeah, well, a lot of it is just what not to do with my playing career. But I think there's so many. We could be here all day with that one. But just maybe, I've changed offenses every year of my football life, and so the learning of those things, how to adapt to learning an offense. Some of those things, the tricks and traits, of just downloading that information mentally, you can share those with how you go about a learning style, and then just building routines. Hey, I got this I played with this guy, I played with Kurt Warner this time, and Jake Delhomme showed me this, and Jeff Blake showed me that. Like different guys that I was around, older guys that I pulled from and grew from. So all those things, they kind of come up organically in our meetings. That something will happen, and I'll say, oh yeah, I remember playing with this guy, and I learned that from him. And so you just learn to really watch the veterans, and that's why we're so fortunate to have Sam and Nick, and guys that have played, and you watch those guys and watch how they operate.
You said something about an interception free
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it was, sometimes you're, as a coach, you're installing plays or talking about plays, and there's like real scars there, and that was one for me. And we were talking through a particular throw, and just the difficulty of that throw, and I said, listen, like I'm not just saying this. I tried to make this throw, it did not go well, and I watched it keep to leave running to the end zone. And so I just encourage you, like as you're evaluating whether or not to make that throw, how clean that needs to look for you, and what that pre-snap look needs to be for you to take that chance. So little things like that come up throughout the course of it, and like I said, hopefully, it keeps us from speed bumps. They learn from those mistakes, and we can avoid some.
Scott, when you've got three different quarterbacks here that are all fairly new to things, I guess two that are fairly especially new to things, what is the key in this time of year to getting on the same page with receivers to the point where things are second nature?
Yeah, I mean, time. Like we don't have enough of it. We need more and more. Like just to be able to be on the field with them, and then for them to spend time with those guys throwing, and so it just depends on where you are with your team build or with your players. But like when you're in a situation that we are, where you got a couple of new players, they need to feel the routes from these guys, and they need to feel how Jordan's going to break or cut on a route. And sometimes it's multiple times, so it may be more of a simple route that maybe if you're 2 or 3 years into it with a quarterback, a group of players, you don't spend as much time detailing because you've done that before. They know each other. But in our version of it right now, we got to spend time on all those details, and that's good. That's good for all of us, but especially for both Sam and JJ to get to know these guys, get to feel these receivers, and feel their body language and how they're going to be when they come out of a cut, and their speed and all that stuff.
JJ, how delicate is the balance of like performance and development and time of them on days like that?
Yeah, it is delicate. You hit it around the head, and we have to strike it perfectly because we ultimately maintain a growth mindset with him. A growth mindset. We want him to perform well every snap that he gets. But every snap that he gets, a lot of these things are his first snap at some of these looks and some of these throws, and just the things that you get asked to do in the pros across every organization is different than what you're asked to do in college. I mean, the hashes are different. So many of these things are new and first time for him, and so you understand those things, you frame them properly as he grows through it, and but always expecting a level of production and a level of execution that doesn't step back from what our group is as a whole. So you're always striking that balance, but ultimately I think taking a growth mindset with him and looking at everything as what it is here in year one.
What do you think you learned most just in Carolina working with Bryce about the process of development?
Yeah, so much. I think the number one thing is maintaining that growth mindset. If you're in a situation where they're playing early, just to know that no matter like JJ's played in some big moments. Won a national championship. He's been in some big games. Bryce won the Heisman. Had been highly productive, but there's still a learning curve to this league, and so to give yourself space to understand that, to learn, and to not put pressure or level expectations on them that are sometimes unattainable in year one. So just I think that's the biggest thing is no matter how impressive some of the things they do may be, is still maintaining that mindset, because I think that was the biggest learn for me is Bryce was very impressive early on, but still the games are their own separate entity, and you gotta manage it as such.
What's the biggest area in terms of making that transition from college to the NFL that's challenging, it's more difficult, that causes rookies so many problems?
Oh man, if I could bottle it up, I'd make a lot of money, because this is what's hard about it. But ultimately, it's the volume that we're placing on them, the learning that we're giving them, and then the opposition, the defense that you're facing. So those are two different things, and you're learning one of those things at one rate, and now you're applying a defense that's going to vary from week to week at another rate. And so so that's the hardest thing is allowing those things to mesh, and it's really having to put in the work on the things you can control, the learning, and then facing the defenses. That just comes with time, and time, and then the relative, especially from the quarterback position, the relative talent that you have around you and your ability to operate, and so I think those are the two biggest things. And right now, you're getting a little bit of both every day because we get to come out and practice against a really good defense that's going to show us multiple looks. So we're getting that, pressing on us from this side, and then the volume that we're giving him, and that's good. We talked about it today. That's good. We're going to feel that. That's going to be real, and that's what it feels like in the season. And learning how to manage that on a day-to-day basis is what playing quarterback's all about. Yeah, it's funny. Like, somebody will grab me in the airport, and yeah, they'll say welcome to Minnesota, and they'll say, hey, wait a minute. It's like the longer we talk, the more they think about it, and then it's not so pleasant. They're like, wait a minute, hold on, man, and I'm like, all right, yeah, it happened, but like, again, through the course of my career, there's only like 5 good plays, and that's one of them. So let me have it, but no, it's been cool. It was a crazy moment back then, but it's cool to be here now and be a part of this organization. It's been a great group so far, and Kevin and the staff, everybody, the facilities are awesome, and just very, very thankful to be here. Awesome, thank you.